In the heart of a bustling city, nestled between a modern café and a trendy clothing shop, stood an old, unassuming bookstore called Pages of Time. The storefront was worn, its windows dusty and cracked, but the sign above the door, intricately carved and faded, hinted at a world of forgotten tales within. Most people walked past without a second glance, but for Alice, the bookstore was a sanctuary. One rainy afternoon, seeking refuge from the downpour, Alice stepped inside. The air was thick with the scent of aged paper and leather. Dim light filtered through the windows, illuminating the narrow aisles lined with towering shelves crammed full of books. As she wandered deeper, she felt a sense of calm wash over her, as if the world outside had faded away. While browsing the shelves, Alice noticed a door at the back of the store, partially ajar. She had never seen it before, and felt a sudden urge to explore. Pushing the door open, she discovered a small, dusty room filled with stacks of books and an old, rickety desk cluttered with papers. In the center of the desk sat an ornate book, its cover embossed with strange symbols and faded gold lettering. Curiosity piqued, Alice approached the desk and opened the book. The pages were yellowed with age, filled with handwritten notes and sketches of various creatures and symbols. As she flipped through the pages, she felt a chill in the air, as if the room was holding its breath. Suddenly, a cold breeze swept through the room, causing the pages to flutter wildly. Startled, Alice stepped back, but something caught her eye. A passage near the end of the book that seemed to glow faintly. The text read, "To awaken the spirits, one must speak their name aloud." Intrigued, Alice felt a surge of excitement. She had always been fascinated by the supernatural and the idea of connecting with the past. She hesitated for a moment. Then, with a mix of courage and curiosity, she whispered, "Roderick." As soon as she spoke the name, the air around her crackled with energy. The shadows in the room deepened, and Alice felt a presence beside her. Heart pounding, she turned to see a translucent figure forming in the corner, a man dressed in Victorian clothing, his expression serious yet curious. "Who dares to summon me?" he asked, his voice echoing like a distant whisper. I'm Alice," she stammered, her fascination outweighing her fear. "I found your book. I wanted to know more about you." Roderick studied her with piercing eyes, the corners of his mouth curling into a faint smile. "Many have sought me, but few have been worthy. You possess a spirit unclouded by doubt." Alice felt a warmth at his words, emboldening her. "What happened to you? Why are you bound to this book?" He gestured toward the pages. "I was a scholar, devoted to the study of the arcane, but my thirst for knowledge led me to dark paths. In my quest, I made a grave mistake, and my soul became tethered to this realm." "What kind of mistake?" she asked, captivated by his story. "I sought to harness the power of the spirits, to control them," he replied, his voice tinged with regret. "But I was naive. I unleashed forces beyond my understanding, and in the chaos, I lost everything. My life, my freedom." Alice's heart ached for him. "Is there a way to free you?" Roderick's expression softened, a flicker of hope in his eyes. "To break the curse, you must find the artifact that binds me. The Amulet of Whispers. It lies hidden in the shadows of this city, guarded by the spirits I once sought to command." Determined, Alice nodded. "I'll help you." Over the following days, Alice and Roderick communicated through the book. He guided her through the history of the city, leading her to old graveyards, forgotten buildings, and hidden alcoves. With each location, she unearthed fragments of the past, artifacts, symbols, and clues about the amulet. However, as they delved deeper, strange occurrences began to unfold. Shadows danced at the edge of her vision, whispers echoed in abandoned places, and she felt an unseen presence following her, watching her every move. Roderick warned her that the spirits were restless, angered by her pursuit of the amulet. One stormy night, as she stood in front of an old, crumbling church where Roderick believed the amulet was hidden, the air grew thick with tension. The wind howled, rattling the windows, and the shadows around her deepened. Alice stepped inside, her heart pounding in her chest. The church was dark and damp, the air heavy with the scent of mildew. As she moved cautiously through the pews, the whispers returned, louder and more urgent. "Leave this place," they warned, echoing around her. Ignoring the warnings, she approached the altar, where Roderick had indicated the amulet would be. In the dim light, she saw it, a small, shimmering object nestled among the debris. She reached for it, feeling a surge of energy as her fingers closed around the cool metal. But the moment she lifted the amulet, the temperature dropped sharply. Shadows swirled around her, coalescing into figures, spirits, their faces twisted with anger. "You dare disturb us!" they hissed, their voices a cacophony of rage. Panicking, Alice clutched the amulet tightly, calling out to Roderick. "I have it! What do I do?" "Speak the incantation," he urged, his voice echoing in her mind. "It will bind them." With her heart racing, Alice took a deep breath and recited the incantation written in the book. The spirits shrieked, their forms flickering as the energy surged through the church. The amulet glowed brightly, illuminating the shadows and pushing them back. As the light enveloped her, she felt Roderick's presence beside her, steadying her resolve. "You are strong, Alice. Together, we can end this." With one final shout, she finished the incantation, and the amulet burst with blinding light. The spirits wailed in anguish, their forms dissipating like smoke in the wind. The church shook, and the walls reverberated with the power of the spell. In the aftermath, silence fell over the church, the oppressive darkness lifting. Alice collapsed to her knees, breathless, the amulet still glowing faintly in her hand. "Thank you." Roderick's voice echoed softly in her mind. "You have freed me." With those words, his spirit appeared beside her, a serene expression on his face. "I am no longer bound. You have released me from my curse." Tears filled Alice's eyes as she watched him fade away, his form dissolving into the light. The amulet's glow dimmed, and she felt a wave of peace wash over her. In the days that followed, Alice returned to the bookstore, knowing she would never forget Roderick or their incredible journey. The bookstore remained, a sanctuary of stories and secrets, and she vowed to share Roderick's tale with others, ensuring that his spirit would never be forgotten. And every now and then, when she wandered through the aisles, she could feel a gentle breeze, as if a familiar presence lingered, whispering tales of the past and reminding her of the bond they had forged in the depths of Hollow Creek.